everyone, my name is Stella, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make these super cute daisy beaded bracelets.
First, let's start with what you'll need. To make these bracelets, you'll need seed beads. Seed beads are these tiny little beads that, well, look like seeds. I really recommend getting standard size seed beads. I use size 8/0 because when I first started, I got some cheap beads off of Amazon, but because the beads were all different sizes, the daisies also looked a bit wonky at times. You'll also need some beading string. This can really be any type of string that you want to use for your bracelet, so long as it's small enough to go through the holes. I use this stretchy, clear, elasticy string. And of course, you'll need some scissors to cut the string, or, anything that can cut the string really. I also highly recommend picking up a beading needle. This isn't strictly necessary, but it's super helpful for making the daisies since you have to go through a single bead multiple times. A beading needle is basically just a regular needle, but with a super large hole so you can stick your beading string through. Then once it's done, you can basically use it as if it was the end of your string. And finally, to secure the bracelet, I use some lobster claw clasps and jump rings. Alrighty, and onto the setup. First of all, you'll have to cut the string for your bracelet. But when you're doing this, make sure you give yourself way more string than you think you need. When you're making the daisies, they actually use up a lot of string relative to how much final bracelet length you get. My rule of thumb is around 4 feet of string for a bracelet, which I know sounds crazy, but trust me, you'd rather have too much string than too little. Also, don't forget that having extra string on the end is always nice for tying the knot at the end as well.
Alrighty, next up we're going to tie some knots to secure the lobster clasp to the string. It can actually be quite hard to tie knots with elastic string because it's so slippery, but I found some helpful tricks for getting the knots to stay.
The first trick is pull the elastic string tight before you even try to make the knot. Having the string in a kind of taut state helps make the knot stay better. Then you can knot it multiple times before you tie it tightly as well, and that kind of helps the knot stay in place. So hopefully, this will help you tie your knots because, oh my gosh, it took me so long to figure this out. Okay, on to what we're actually all here for, the beading. All right, so first you'll want to pick out the bead colors that you want to use. For my daisy chain, I use 3 different colors: white for the petals, yellow for the center of the daisies, and this purplish blue as the connector bead between each daisy. All right, so to make the daisies, you start off by first grabbing 4 of the petal colored beads. For me, that's the white beads over here. And 1 bead for the center of the flower. For me, I'm using a yellow bead. Like so. And one of the really nice things about having a beading needle is that you can kind of stick them all on at the same time. Then bring them down to the bottom of the string together. So you should have something like this. The next step is to take your needle and put it through the first bead. So that's right here. And we're just going to string that through. All right. And once you're pulling it tight, you might notice that the bead kind of strays a little bit away from the end. And you can easily resolve that by kind of just pushing the bead to the side and then pulling it tight again. Just repeat that however many times you need to get it all the way to the end. All right, now you have half the daisy done and it should look a little something like this. Then you take the needle and you grab 3 more white beads. So 1, 2, 3, just like that. Once again, you want to pull this to the bottom of the string. Okay, so now your string should look a little something like this. And then you take your needle and you thread it through the top bead of the daisy, so the one that is on the opposite side of the yellow center bead. Just like that. Once again, you pull the string tight, and ta-da, you've got 1 super cute daisy. Again, if your daisy is kind of separating from the start of the string, you can always pull it a little bit tighter and push it back towards the base. Next, I always like adding a little connector bead in between each of my daisies, so I'm going to be using this purple color for this. Just grab one, bring it down to the end, and voila, we have our first daisy. All right, I'll show it to you guys once more, so in case you missed it, you can watch it again. So once again, we're going to first start by grabbing 4 white beads. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we'll want to grab 1 yellow bead for the center of the flower. Bring that all the way down. Next, we want to take the needle and thread it through the first petal bead. So that's this first white bead here. Can you see that? Through the first white bead. And we're going to pull the string all the way through. And again, you can see there's a little bit of looseness. So I'm just going to take this first bead, push it back where it belongs, and then tighten it again. Now it's much closer to the purple bead. And next, I'm going to take 3 more white beads. 1, 2, 3. String them down to the bottom. So it looks like this. And once again, I'm going to be taking the needle and threading it through the opposite sides, this top bead right here. And once again, you just pull it through and pull it tight. And just like that, you have 2 super cute daisies. And once again, I'm going to add on the connector bead. Ta-da! Isn't that super cute? Oh my gosh. And basically, you just repeat this process a bunch of times until you get to the daisy chain length that you want. Once you've got the pattern down, it becomes super easy to make the daisies. I find it really relaxing to just let my mind wander as I'm making them. So a bunch of daisies later, I was happy with the length of the bracelet. And the last step is really easy. Just take a jump ring and tie some knots at the end of the bracelet to secure it. Once again, you'll want to be sure to tie this super tight so the bracelet doesn't come undone, and use all the tips that I talked about earlier. And ta-da! You now have a super cute daisy chain bracelet.
And that's a wrap for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like making DIY jewelry, you should also check out this video where I show you how to make shrink plastic earrings like these. And of course, please subscribe to my channel for more fun crafty content. Hope to see you next time. Bye!